Welcome to Race 3 of the NASCAR International Cup Series live from Richmond International Speedway in Richmond, Virginia. A very cold condition race we have here tonight, just 40 degrees Fahrenheit, which I'm sure is a record for some kind of NASCAR race since it's being held in the middle of winter. But hey, we should be seeing some very exciting racing regardless of the weather. We have winner of the last race, Felix Palao-Kronberg, who managed to finish in the pole, with an unusual sighting of Bill Edgewater in second, followed by Fontaine in third, Johnson in fourth, and Morrison Jr. in fifth. Points leader Gustavo Demarsa starts in sixth, and we are underway here in Richmond. Edgewater uses the grip of his Chevy to get out in front right away. It looks like the 527 of Johnson wants to make an early pass as well for Kronberg. And it will be Bill Edgewater who takes lap one. Edgewater's already getting a pretty decent lead on the others, but Kronberg and Johnson are not giving up point yet since we're only 2 laps in. The Beatles of Morrison Jr. and Buckworth Huckleberry take up part of the top 10 side by side. Meanwhile, the 70 of Martin is getting very aggressive early, who started in 22nd, I believe, and is already in 14th. Using that inside line to try to get past the Cadillac of the number 3 and the Aston Martin of the 57. Oh, and he tapped the, I believe that was the 3 of Steve Rada there that he tapped. Proving that he's going to get very aggressive very early. And meanwhile, as we see from the helicopter, that is Edgewater, who is taking a gigantic lead on the rest, already ahead for almost a second. But a good battle for second here between Kronberg, Johnson, and Fontaine, who is going to unusually take advantage of the outside lane. But so far, so good. Edgewater already has 0.8 of a second ahead of the rest of the pack. Meanwhile, in the back of the pack, here's Elliot Yankovic, and here's Leonardo Pasquale, who's usually not in the back of the pack. Is not a short track specialist, that's for sure. He is currently in, I believe is, 24th, which is very unusual for a driver of his talent to be below the top 20, let alone before the top 10, honestly. Meanwhile, the 70 of Levante Martin looks to be making more positions. He is currently behind the 3 of Steve Rada. Let's take a look at the cockpit from his view. Again, started way back and I believe was 24th. I would have to look at that after the race for sure. But here he comes trying to utilize the outside lane, trying to get past Rada instead. The outside lane is usually very efficient here in Richmond. As you can see, the French teammates, the Bidvest Racing teammates of Fontaine and Martin utilizing the outside more than really any driver in this race so far. Meanwhile, back in the lead, it is Bill Edgewater, who has exactly a second ahead of Johnson. That Chevy must have really good grip on that car, especially good for tracks like Richmond, where you can be slipping and sliding all over those banks, especially with the very cold surface temperature. But that seems to be no problem for Bill, as he is taking more and more of a gap between him and the rest of the pack. And here's Kronberg trying to get third from Fontaine, again trying to use the outside. Now, very packed up here. Here is the 34 of The 34 Apolia Hopkins, who is utilizing the outside lane. Doesn't seem to be so successful far, though, because Tomoshi is looking on the outside and is going to probably cut him off here. But no, Tomoshi actually cuts him off. That's a very good move from him. Meanwhile, back up front, there is some smoke. I'm not sure where that came from. Let's see where that came from. If we rewind here. Oh, it was Falcon Star. It looks like Martin and Falcon Star collided. Let me see. If we look from this cam, from the roof. We look from the rear. Yes, it looks like Martin and Falcon Star did collide there, and it caused Falcon Star to smoke up, but not like the last race where he had to be out. He is still in this one, fortunately for him. In front of the pack, here's Fontaine trying to overtake the 96 of Kronberg. And look at Johnson. He has caught up to Edgewater very well. Edgewater looked like he had a good edge on the race, no pun intended. But Zach Johnson looks to be taking that first spot away in his 520 in his Red Bull Toyota. Very good battle for the lead we have here. From over a second a couple of laps ago to now just a tenth of a second now. Barely a car length for the battle for first. Meanwhile, it's Martin who's already crept his way very well into 12th, who's looking to get past Newton here, and we know that a driver like Martin would take all precautions necessary, even if it means getting very aggressive to get into that top 10. So if I was the 5 of the rookie David Newton, I would watch out. Meanwhile, we still have a very good battle for third here between the 96, the 16, the 8, and even the 53 of Buckworth Huckleberry's in that mix. It looks like Edgewater has just got a little bit of a clearance away from Johnson, but it is far from over since we're not even half of the way done of the race here at Richmond. It looks like here's a very good battle for the battle of 9th between the 57 and the 31. Oh, I'm sorry, the battle for 10th. Honda using the outside, Harold using the inside. And looks like it's going to be Harold that gets the overtake done completely. But just behind him, here's Martin, who's looking to take the 11th spot away from the 5 of Noonan. You go Martin into the wall, but we know that's not going to stop him yet. You go, Love taps Noonan. He is there, and he is letting Noonan know that he's there. Meanwhile, who's Falcon Star, who's getting his way into the battle as well. Ooh, that break was a little early from Martin. Almost got hit the back of Falcon Star. In the battle for first, it is still all Johnson and Edgewater here. The Chevy Monte Carlo versus the Toyota Camry. And meanwhile, we got teammates battling here for 6th between Dustin Morrison Jr. and Buckworth Huckleberry, the 2 Volkswagens. I don't know whether or not they're allies or enemies now, but either way, they are teammates and they are supposed to work together. Up here. Oh, we've had smoke! Let's see where the smoke came from this time. Maybe if we see from the 70 of Martin and we go into spectator view, we can see where it came from. Was it Falcon Star again who was smoking up? Let's see. It wasn't Falcon Star. I guess we won't know where the smoke was coming from, but it doesn't seem to have affected any of the drivers. But Dave Noonan has fell back significantly. I don't know if he spun out or made an error or what, but the 5 is all the way back in 25th. Let's see if we can find what happened to Noonan here to cause him to fall so far back. Here you go, it looks like he was spun out, and it looks like it was by Martin as well. Let's see here, Martin tries to go onto the outside. Tries to cut his way inside, and yep, that is just a tap from Martin that spins Noonan out. And if I was Noonan, I would have braked before. And that falls him back all the way back to 25th. Here's Morrison Jr. Back on lap 21. Here's Morrison Jr. and Huckleberry still battling for 6th. Well, here's Edgewater, who has led every lap so far here at Richmond, starting in 2nd and has been in 1st ever since, but Johnson is not far behind. It looks like Martin has found his... Martin is in 11th, looking to find his way into the top 10. And we have some very packed racing here between Yankovic, Hopkins, and Pasquale in the mix as well. Yankovic is currently in 22nd, so it's the back of the pack that's having some really intense racing at the moment. But of course, we want to send most of our concentration up front. We have the 95 and the 59 that are in a decent battle for, I believe it's 16th, right in the middle of the pack. The last car in the top half of the standings is the Knight of Nick Baker, with the 2 Cadillacs of the 3 and the, I believe that is the 14. Yes, the 3 and the 14 that are right in front of him. So we have 2 different sets of teams with members fighting for different positions. We have the 3 and the 14 fighting for 13th, and then up ahead we have the 53 and the 10 who are fighting for 7th, or 6th, I mean. 15 laps to go here at Richmond, and Edgewater has a very good lead over Johnson now, but it is far from over. What a win this would be for Bill Edgewater, considering he was relatively mediocre in the last season, finishing in the bottom 10. He looks to make Season 3 his redemption season, that's for sure. But this could be an issue for the leader of Bill Edgewater. The number 2 of Dustin Keys is a lap down, and once the leaders see those lap down cars, because the drivers that are a lap down do not want to give up more positions because they want to try to be away from last, it might slow down Edgewater a little bit, but so far it's not. Edgewater is going to take over the lap down car. And it looks like Johnson is going to do the same as well coming into turn 1. And he will. Kronberg in 3rd, Fontaine in 4th. Harrell in the 57 and 9th. Martin makes up the last of the top 10. Still a very good battle for 6th between the 2 Volkswagen teammates. These 2 are probably going to be with each other the entire race. We can see the gap is increasing. Just it is now 0.4 of a second between the 7 and the 57. I mean the 527. The 57's an 8. Let's look at the cockpit of Dustin Morrison Jr. Back to the 7. And Johnson is right there. He is not letting this lap car stop him. Now it's Felix Palao-Kronberg who's right behind as well. 9 laps to go here at Richmond. Edgewater, Johnson, Kronberg all look to be in it, but anything can happen within these last 9 laps. The 41, the lapped car is blocking it hard, and that's just going to give more of an advantage for Johnson. 41, giving away space for Edgewater and Johnson and Kronberg. It could be any of these three, but so far Edgewater has yet to be overtaken in this race. But this could be a chance here. Here's Zach Johnson on the inside. Not quite enough to get past Edgewater. We're in for a very good last final laps here. And here comes Kronberg. He's looking to overtake Johnson. Not quite. Kronberg's going to try to take the rest of the middle line, while Johnson's trying to use the best line possible. And all that does is just help Edgewater out, get a little bit of a lead there by half a second now. The top four has all managed to pass the lap down cars. This could be a really good battle for the win, if not a battle for second, because it looks like Edgewater's Chevy is taking really good grip of this track. The gap is now 3/4 of a second. It looks to be Edgewater's to win now, but the battle for second could be just as interesting. Meanwhile, we've had the 70 of Levante Martin, who's almost past one of the Beatles and already past one, who's all the way in 7th. Because he is getting past Buckworth. He's looking to find his way to the top 5 despite finishing in the bottom 10 earlier this race. What a race he is having. And he overtakes Huck as well for the 6th spot. Now let's get back to the leaders. Here's Edgewater, who's going to be slowed down by more lap-down cars by Logan Davenport and Paulia Hopkins. 4 laps to go, and that should help Johnson. Still yet to be overtaken, but even if it's the last lap, that's all that matters here. Here's Johnson on the inside. He's being blocked by Davenport, and that's going to let Bill Edgewater get away here. Huge advantage for Edgewater, and it should be his race to lose now. 3 laps to go here at Richmond. The 99 and the 34-hour lap down, the 7 and everyone else on the screen is in the lead lap. Johnson's not giving up yet. Hopkins blocks him, but that's essentially going to seal the win for Bill Edgewater. Managing to lead every single lap here at Richmond. 2 laps to go. Johnson finally overtakes Hopkins, but it could be too late here. Fontaine and Kronberg are well out of it, as they look to go on the inside for the last spot in the podium. The battle for third here can be interesting. 1 lap to go. Looks like it's going to be Bill Edgewater with just 2 turns to go. Meanwhile, here's the 16 and the 96. Let's see if the 96 gets advantage on his last turn. And no, he will not. It will be Fontaine that finishes 3rd. And it'll be Bill Edgewater who leads every single lap here, all 40, to take the win here at Richmond. Johnson in 2nd, Fontaine in 3rd, Kronberg in 4th, DeMarza in 5th, and what a performance from Levante Martin in 6th, despite starting in the bottom 10. And there you have it. There is your results for the 3rd race of the NASCAR International Cup Series at Richmond.